the class down. It was really Justin, one maybe had, Justin and Vaughn had come out. And of course, neither of them said, if you're 10, and so I think, it's coming real rare, so I'm gonna say, and I'm so hot. And right now, my daughter's thank you very much. Oh, appreciate it. We're excited. Okay, it's gonna be a big night. And did you get your one? No, I'm gonna get this restaurant and find a place to sleep. You know, we fire. This that corner table over here. I want to join you. Okay, or you can make. Yeah, I don't know. It's just time. No, I was gonna say watch that cord, and I forgot to say it. You know what? I did watch it.
Yeah, when your slideshow's full, you just put it up on the screen. Don't worry.
Like the ice. Oh, I don't have to start it up meeting.
Oh, no, I'm saying, yeah, you can go ahead and,
and
you can get rid of this one. You're fine.
Oh, yeah. See.
Welcome. It is May 5th, 2023. Meeting of the Rotary Club of Beavercreek. It does start to feel nice outside. The downside of the nicer weather, as I noticed on the way in, was that we now need to take a lot more steps from where we park to get it because the golfers are now here. That's an unfortunate side effect. Denny, thank you for the website. Eric, for doing a lot of things as always today. We will address that and that. Pete, Mark, and Mike for the programs. I didn't see anyone come late, and Jim come up for the website. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Mr. Tajar.
Happy Cinco de Mayo. Okay, would you please join me in prayer? Oh, Holy Creator, we offer you a special prayer this year, dear Lord, because we want to be everlasting. We do not, like so many times in the past, we will soon forget these words and thoughts that we've had heartfelt under no sense of obligation now present to you. Please bless this abundant food, which once the living had to sacrifice so that our bodies can be nourished with his life-giving minerals and vitamins. From this meal forward, please guide us all of our physical actions so that we can continue to claim the worthiness of such a sacrifice. We ask these blessings in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Jenkins is not here today. Not going to make Eric do this. So remember, Joe's out attendance is 100%. So, with that, turn it over to Mr. Don Adams.
Thank you, sir. This will be fairly short today because I have to leave along with some other people in here that we're going to the senior center and serve the ladies over there for the Mother's Day tea this afternoon. I'll be there by 12:30. So, but today is May 5th. It's the 124th day of the year. It's amazing how quickly it's gone by. Today we celebrate Revenge of the Fifth. That follows May the 4th. After I studied that, I realized that. But first, I was having a hangover. But so that'd be ours. That's the best joke I've got all day. It's also Cinco de Mayo, Hand Hygiene Day, Hug a Shed and Take a Selfie Day. Music Lovers Day, National Hoagie Day,
and No Pants Day. It's also Choose Privacy Week, which is probably good because it's also No Debt Free Week. It's National Children's Book Week, and thank you to Donald Parton and Rotary and everybody else for that. That's I know my great grandkids get books every month, and it's really great to get those new books. It's National Small Business Week, and Brandon, it's the biggest week in American birding.
Yes. Yes, it's
Today, history, in 1865, the first train robbery was performed in North Bend, Ohio. In 1904, Cy Young pitched the first perfect game in a modern baseball game against the Boston Americans, beat the Philadelphia Athletics. In 1917, Eugene Bullard gained his pilot's license. He was from the Air Club of Defense, became the first African-American military pilot to have a license. In 1921, and I remember this, well, I weren't in 1921, but I remember the premiere. Chanel number 5 was released by Coco Chanel. And in 1930, Amy Johnson took off. She was the first woman to fly solo from England to Australia. She didn't land until May 24th. Well, she landed a couple times to get some gas. May 5th, I don't know what the date was. We reached too much of the first squadron jet aircraft aboard a carrier became the first Navy squadron to be qualified. In 1978, Cincinnati's Pete Rose became the 14th player to get 3,000 hits. In our club, there is no birthdays this period, no partner birthdays this period. We do have some member anniversaries though. Paul Anena is in 21 years. Stephen Gilbert is in 7 years. Jim Gundel, 34 years. And Michael Swick, 39 years. Michael.
I've been a member of and performance, and I have not.
Couple of things in our community, reminder, come out and join the Beavercreek City Schools for Family Fun Day on Sunday. Hopefully it starts at 12 o'clock, goes till 4. Hopefully there won't be as much wind as there was last year. Because everybody that had a tent didn't by the end of the day. A World Fair is happening in Green County Fairgrounds this weekend. And there's something that I'm supposed to go to the Beavercreek Women's League tomorrow morning, but I'm going to go out here first because we're going to have a naturalization ceremony. And I've never been to one of those live, so I'm looking forward to that. It's 107 or 110 people that are going to be naturalized. And speaking of the Beavercreek Women's League, they're having their annual scholarship luncheon tomorrow at the Holiday Inn, where they give away scholarships to Beavercreek High School, Career Center students, and to women in transition. Fairfield Mall is hosting a Hometown Heroes event on May 20th. Here are first responders and veterans. There'll be a blessing of the bikes at Killcare on May 21st, starting at 10. If you've never been around 2,000 to 5,000 bikes, I've heard that noise, it'd be a good thing you found here because once they take off, it's easy. And all the proceeds from that will benefit Greenbucks. And speaking of Greenbucks, they held their Mid-States Convention last weekend at the Holiday Inn. We ended up giving away 11 bikes, 9 of them to disabled kids and 2 to veterans. And if you've never been a part of that, I highly recommend doing it just to go and see what they do. In fact, if you'd like to get involved with a bike build on Thursday, June 8th at Angels Pass Park, they're going to be building bikes starting around 6:30, and then they're going over to Southern Ohio Brewery and have some brews. That was good to me. City Council recognized the Beavercreek High School bowling team for their state championship, and they will be recognized in the junior RTC drill team on Monday for their state and national championships. A huge thank you to all who voted for the police levy. I'd like to say I wasn't worried about it, but I was, but really nothing passed. So don't forget, as it's set up here, our meeting next week is Founders Day. So we don't meet at 12, we meet at 5:30. Right here.
And they say that light travels faster than sound. That's why some people appear bright until they open their mouths. Always take life with a grain of salt. Plus a slice of lemon and a shot of tequila. We're good. Just have a protected covering for my rock hard abs.
In my case, it's bad.
Money talks, but all I ever says is goodbye. Knowledge is knowing a tomato is fruit. Wisdom is not putting it in a fruit salad. I think you forget those. A long-winded attorney was arguing a technical case before one of the judges at Superior Court. The attorney had rambled on in such a desultory way that it became very difficult to follow his line of thought. And the judge had just yawned very suggestively. With a trace of sarcasm in his voice, the tiresome attorney ventured to observe, "I sincerely trust that I am not unduly trespassing on the time of this court." My friend returned his honor. There is a considerable difference between trespassing on time and encroaching upon eternity. A man and his wife were having some problems at home and were giving each other the silent treatment. Suddenly, the man realized that the next day he would need his wife to wake him up at 5 a.m. to catch the flight. Not wanting to be the first to break the silence and lose, he wrote on a piece of paper, "Please wake me up at 5 a.m. He left it where he knew she would find it. The next morning, the man woke up and discovered it was 9 a.m. He had missed his flight. Curious about what, but he had to go and see his wife and ask why she didn't wake him up when he noticed a piece of paper that said, "It's 5 a.m. Wake up." A blind man was describing his favorite sport, which is parachuting. When asked how this was accomplished, he said that things were all done for him. I'm placed in the door with my seeing eye dog and told when to jump. My hand is placed on the release ring for me, and out I go with the dog. But how do you know when you're going to land? I have a very keen sense of smell. I can smell the trees and the grass when I'm about 300 feet off the ground. But how do you know when to lift your legs for that final arrival on the ground? He said. Oh, that's easy. The dog's leash goes slack. Got a couple of blonde jokes, but they're not. Oh, they're of men. Okay. I'm trying to be fair. A blonde man is in the bathroom and his wife shouts, "Did you find the shampoo?" He said, "Yes, but I'm not sure what to do. It's for dry hair and I just wet mine." On if it's part of a letter on his doormat that said, "Do not bend." He spent the next 2 hours trying to figure out how to pick it up. That's When Denver was wearing a beat up old watch a friend had given her. I asked her, "Does it tell time?" She said, "No, you still have to look at it."
Skip the rest.
Well, it's a good thing we're in a large crowd. As the bus pulled away, a woman realized she'd left her purse under the seat. Later, she called the company and was relieved to find out that the driver had found it. When she went to pick it up, several off-duty bus drivers greeted her. One of the men handed over her bag in a box. We were required to inventory all found wallets and purses, he exclaimed. I think you'll find everything here. As she started to put things back in her purse, the man continued, I hope you don't mind if we watch. Even though we all tried, none of us could figure out how to fit all those things back in the purse. And figure out how to do it. And then there was a teacher who says, give me a sentence about public service. This was to her third grade class. The fireman came down the ladder pregnant, answered one little girl. You know what pregnant means? Well, yes, she said, it means carrying a child. Quotes from Dave. This is from Albert Einstein. Never give up on what you really want to do. The person with big dreams is more powerful than one with just facts. And try not to become a man or woman of success, but rather try to become a person of value. Vines for today, if you've seen Star Wars, that's $1. If you've eaten, or no, if you read a book in the last month, that's $1. If you watch Pete Rose play, that's $1. Now, I don't think anybody was late today, but if you're not wearing your Rotary pin, that's $1. And Ryan, if you would handle the stuff for me, I would appreciate it. Brandon?
Yeah.
Happy books.
It's so hard. Well, we didn't. Do I have any happy books? Oh, what was? I am ready for charity.
Happy Beck, just want to thank, I know there are a couple people in our club that came out to the Rotary Day of Service last Saturday. And they did some restoration of a children's playground in the Miami Chapel area, the Miami Arena. Thank you for anybody who did that. I was at graduation, so I wasn't there.
It's a great time. So Eric, myself, Lance, and we got lucky. The weather was perfect. It was supposed to rain the whole time, but those that went last year, this park was a little bit couple blocks over, and there was a huge turnout. So I know Dayton Rotary was there, Centerville Rotary members were there. It was pretty fun.
And you can change.
Yes.
Anyone else? We got two? Oh, I'll go leave.
You haven't announced. So I'm gonna pay $1 for it, but if you're coming to Founder's Day. And you have not registered, at noon on Monday, I'm turning registration off. What that means is if you show up Friday evening at 5:30. You can pay $35, we won't feed you.
Don't make Eric mad, that's what he's saying. Sure. I keep getting a few more confirmation on a ton of people are coming, and like, so we got 17 Paul Harris fellows that evening, so it should be really good, and it's our 50th, so
And 65 people registered.
65, so it should be a great evening. Yeah, happy books. I got to go to Bloomington for the first time yesterday. I've never been. It was really beautiful. You've never been over there and seen their campus. It's really nice. I know where some of my money, I guess, goes now. But we were going to stay and have a whole weekend there. And I had to come back because my little sister is graduating from Sinclair tonight. So I'm very excited for her. But I feel robbed. I gotta get back to Bloomington and sometime explore some more. But yeah, tonight at Sinclair, my little sister's getting her associates. So maybe remember her. So anyone else? Okay, let's see, announcements. Again, Founder's Day, that was Monday, May 8th at noon, register by then. And then Jim Rudd, please send him any sponsors or flags for Hero, anyone you want to acknowledge, recognize no later than Sunday evening. I sent an email this week with the attachment that you need to fill out. So just get that to Jim Rudd no later than Sunday evening. Anything else on announcements? Okay, take a drawing. We've got 3, 2, 5, 1, 0, 3.
Oh. Got him again, we got a 103. The Jack, it says, he has a question over it.
No, I got.
That's true.
That's 102. 102.
That's what it was.
No, 103.
Good. Right. He pulled the Jack of Hearts.
Jack of Hearts.
Queen of Hearts.
She's trying to get me
I want to get the Porsche standard dates. So, Bob Rose, okay, I'd like to turn it over to Mr. Mike Zwick, who will be introducing our speaker.
Thank you, Brandon. No flying pig this year.
No flying pigs here.
I am excited to announce that Mr. Wayne McLean is here to tell us about a big event coming to Ray Patterson called I'm So Ohio. And I'm so overwhelmed. That's about all the information I have. So come on, Woody.
Very much appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for the invitation to come on out. I got a question for you. Do you need the mic or is this loud enough?
Mike.
Okay, thank you. So, I want to talk to you a little bit about an event and I'll give you a little bit of background. I, along with a couple of other folks from the area, were musing on how to help encourage Ohioans during the height of the pandemic. So a few years ago, we talked about how can we do something that would take people's minds off of being locked up and shut in and, just being kept away from everybody, all their support network. And we thought about doing a virtual type of event. Get some stars, get some folks from the area, and have them do something that would allow people to laugh, to sing, and just be able to enjoy themselves for a moment. So in 2021, we started talking to different organizations about how we could do something in that vein. Well, the pandemic lasted a little longer than we thought. And we really didn't have a closure to it. We had more of a gradual coming out of. And people started going along their lives. But we said, you know what, this is still an idea we want to investigate. So after a few musings, a few discussions, we came up with the theme, I'm So Ohio, and said we wanted to do something that would help celebrate things that are Ohio. And since the three of us kind of are from the, in the Dayton area, we wanted to see if it was something we could do here. So we reached out to some of the stars that we thought were from this area. And John Legend is from just down the road, right? And Dave Chappelle is not from here, but basically lives here. So we started engaging some of those stars to say, would you be willing to do something to help celebrate our area and celebrate the state? And after several, I'd say probably close to a year of going back and forth, we were able to encourage, but this is something that they'd be willing to do. So then we tried to find a place to hold this event. And we thought about one of the jewels of the state, which is Wright-Patt Air Force Base. And specifically, we wanted to see if we could celebrate because the United States National Museum, Air Force National Museum turns 100 this year. So we thought we would try and pull things together and started talking to folks out on the base, and they've, kind of rang us, the regulations and the rules. So they kind of helped set us straight. And just this week, we found out that they think it would be best for us to go ahead and plan this and execute it for next year, targeting around the Memorial Day period, again, celebrating our service. So what is the event? The event is really just a music and comedy show, but it's extended. Normally you would go and you see one star and maybe an opening act, but we're going to try and bring 2, 3 top level entertainers, again, both to laugh and to sing. And it's going to be an event that will help celebrate all things Ohio and especially all things our area. So that's what it is. I don't know. Let's see if we could, if this will move for me here. All right, I don't know. There you go.
Yeah, you can also just arrow it.
Aaron, we'll take it to the next page.
Sure. And if it does, I come over there.
Okay, there we go.
After you tell me when, I'll do it, all right?
All right, thank you. Okay, so here it is. This is the event. One show, 3 major artists, and of course, we'll be looking out for other people. We'll be reaching out and working with the Air Force to encourage local vendors to participate, both to sponsor and possibly offer their wares at the base. It will be open to the service members, their families, to base personnel who work there, and also open to the public. So we're trying to do it as an open house to kind of, as part of the outreach
that the military does in various locations. The other thing is it'll be part of their morale, welfare and readiness program, which I learned about in doing this. That's what they do to help make sure that the families, the service members feel cared for. That helps prepare their readiness for when they have to take action. While here, Ohio, the heart of it, I mean, if you talk about aviation, you talk about the Air Force, what can have more meaning than Ohio? So we really felt that this was a great theme for us to celebrate. The more we talk about it, not just for folks here, but we've spoken to potential sponsors from the West Coast to the South. I mean, they know that this is something that has a good fit being right here. Again, the idea of being at the birthplace of aviation and celebrating all things aviation just really fits along with what we're trying to do in showing the pride in Ohio. So right now, these invited performers all have ties, either born or lived in Ohio. There's several more, but these were just the ones for this iteration that we had gotten online. If all things go well, this is a celebration that we'd like to do more than once. Indeed, we think that the format, after we've showed it to several people and worked on it for a few years, is something that is going to be applicable in other areas as well. And frankly, I wouldn't mind celebrating Ohio once a year. Again, that's part of the morale wellness program. And I really like the fact that the museum is here. It is an incredible jewel. We have certain things in the area that it's easy to take for granted because they're there. I'm not from here. When I moved out here, I saw some of the items we had, and that was one that just blew my mind. Great taking the kids through. Family comes, they all go there. And they seem to do a really good job, both in the presentation of their programs, their curation of the pieces that they have there. And I think they represent the country quite well. So the idea would be to have it outside. We're talking about a place where they had tattoo, for example, and had, 50, 60,000 people through. We'll probably limit it to a smaller group than that, but you're still talking about tens of thousands of people able to come through and enjoy, because it's a long event with multiple performers. Someone may choose to show up for one and not have to stay for the whole day. It will allow families to decide how they want to schedule their time and not be consumed totally by just being locked into a concert arena for an entire day. So this is something that being held on the base will be a not-for-profit event, but it will not be a not without expense event. So he'll be looking for sponsors and partners to come in and help support, working through the Air Force to provide everything from production, support, anything that the Air Force itself will not provide. They'll be looking for partners to come in and help provide, and looking for sponsor partners to come in and help underwrite. And I think that's about it. So that's really what we're trying to do. I tell you, it seems, having thought about this and worked on this for the better part of 3 years, or about 2 years, it took a while to pull it all together, all the different pieces, finding the right venue, finding the right timing, and but we think it's going to be an incredible event. We think it's going to be something that the Dayton area, Miami Valley, Ohio will be very proud of once we execute it. In fact, we spoke to folks at Air Force events when we presented it to them. I think our first meeting was in March, and they literally said, "We've never done anything this." They said that this is. They were really excited, and one of the reasons we were hoping to do it this year, but they felt that they wanted it. They really wanted to be prepared, and so they came back and said, "We really want to do this Memorial Day area next year." Any questions, comments, concerns? Yes.
So I may have missed it. Who's the group that started this? How did that initiate?
So there's a group of us. We call the name WDJ, just initials and names. And we work together on different projects, charity, different things that are kind of community focused and uplifting. And I think what happened, we worked on a music video called Love One Another back in the late 2019 timeframe. We were trying to take this, it was basically a nonviolence, community love type of event. And we were trying to put a platform for that together to get that out. COVID came, we weren't able to go forward. And so we started thinking, what can we do to help boost people's morale? And, so we collectively started talking about this, how could we put an event together? Originally, we were gonna do it virtually, so it'd be streamed for people to see. And then as things changed, we found out we could really hold it. So that's how it came. Yes.
Do you envision this being a one-time good deal?
I think it's gonna set a platform. It's going to set an example and a model to be able to do this at other locations. Airports talk about they could use this at other locations. And here we think it's something we could do, maybe not every year, maybe every other year. But we'd like to see that because there's so much. I mean, we just picked these folks. There's so much talent here in Ohio, so much that, and once somebody sees it happen, what we hope is that stars from here will now say, hey, I'm interested in that. Because it took a lot to chase these people down. Excuse me, don't take that the wrong way. So at the time to, we want you to do this, get on their schedule. A lot of these artists, for example, they're not thinking about it. They've booked out their year. And to try and get a one-time event of this size and shoehorn it in and get dates to match between 3-4 major artists, it's a lot of work, a lot of work. But yes, so hopefully it won't be just a one-time event. Thank you for the question. Yes.
I have a little bit of experience producing large events with the Air Force, and I just want to know how painful has it been so far?
Painful enough that it's going to be next year. Yeah. I think that the challenge is for me, as an outsider, navigating all the different pieces and responsibilities the way that they allocate.
Right.
And if there's not someone on that side, we've had great support working with Colonel, I get them mixed up, Colonel Morris, Colonel Hill from the support wing have been the ones who helped us the most. And then they have to funnel us, okay, you need to talk here with these. So it's been a learning experience. I'd say, I think I said March 1st was the first big meeting we had with about 30 different people, both military and civilian, on the phone, and everyone chiming in their different piece of, well, you remember this. So, but the good thing is, everyone was trying to figure out how to make it happen. That's when we knew we were onto something, because it wasn't, no, I'm sorry, we just can't do that. It was like, well, how do we make this? How do we get around this? So that told us that they were really being supportive of us. So we were very grateful for that. Any other questions?
No question or comment.
Yeah.
Tattoo, been 3 years, loved it.
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle, he did his little thing down in Yellow Springs. I went twice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really, really good to bring here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, that's great. We're excited again. We're really excited. We're a little disappointed we couldn't pull it off this year. We were hoping to get it done. But I think, proper planning is going to make this just an awesome event and one that we can replicate. So, thank you.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, the military's on to something. Space Force wanted to do it and asked me to do it, and they wanted to do it in 6 months. And I said, let's do it in a year and a half. I know how this works, and we did it in a year and a half, and it was good. So
Okay.
be happy. They're telling you to wait.
All right. Thank you.
It's for your best interest. Let's see here, folks. Okay. So thank you for that. We have, I'll have you sign afterwards. I didn't get a chance beforehand. We dedicate a book to the Beavercreek Library on behalf of every speaker, so we'll have you sign that. And then, let's see, again, There's no lunch next Friday. Please do not show, well, you can show up. You're free to come golf and support your local golf club. But please come next Friday night, but please come after having registered before noon on Monday. Otherwise, you will look at the food we're eating. And remember, it's a great selection of food because Eric and I picked it out. We have excellent taste.
Oh.
It's good, trust me, it's good. Did we announce what it was?
It's in the email.
It's in the email. It's in the email. I promise you, it's good. We bounced it off our significant others.
We've been there 3 times to eat.
There you go. So, anything else for the club? Going on, looks like good weather, but they are saying rain for Sunday, so if you're doing yard work or making trips to Lowe's tomorrow. So with that, we'll do the pledge of allegiance. Sir, would you mind leading us to the pledge of allegiance? Oh, you can do it right there.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I think that's my question. I appreciate it. You have a pen on you?
Of course I don't.
No, you. We should be thinking about in your own. Yeah, we not last week. Leave your head and the last couple of years. Oh, I used to get a flop. I was ready to go. I was trying to go there.
Sometimes I have down.
I didn't like. I'm gonna say.
Yeah, session.